Derek Parker was just a baby, sick and vulnerable, when he was left at the gates of a South Korean orphanage. Eventually, he traveled thousands of miles where he was adopted and grew up with his new family in Oregon.
So for many children with disabilities currently living in an orphanage, international adoption is really their only chance of being able to live to their fullest potential.
International adoption began in Korea in the mid-1950s. It peaked in the early 2000s and has expanded to countries across the globe. Today, more than 500,000 children have joined families in the U.S. through international adoption. But over the past 20 years, the number of international adoptions to the U.S. has declined by a staggering 93%.
International adoption has changed significantly over the last few decades. The profile of the children that are eligible for international adoption. Children with more significant special needs, there are older children, in some cases sibling groups. Another area I'd like to highlight is the standards and laws that are in place to protect children. Sending countries, the U.S. government, and agencies have collaborated to strengthen the standards and the laws to ensure that the children are eligible for international adoption before they are placed.
We rarely see young and healthy children through international adoption anymore. More than 90% of the children we place who are older or have special needs.
So that can vary from medical special needs like HIV or cerebral palsy to things that are more emotional behavioral special needs like fetal alcohol spectrum disorder or other problems with behavior or learning.
So from the time I was adopted and arrived here in the United States, my parents have had to do a lot of work. Adopting a child with disabilities is not like just having another child. It's truly understanding what are the needs of that child and then doing the research and understanding and then advocacy for that child to get the services that they need.
Another misconception is that international adoption is the only place that we would look to ensure that a child has a home. We seek other resources in country, whether through local adoption or through family strengthening work to keep that child in their family of origin.
We have also seen a shift in culture where local families are now more open to bring in family members who are not related to them by blood. And stigma in many countries towards single moms have changed too.
As a result of these and other changes, thousands of children are now able to grow up in the country and culture of their birth. But around the world, thousands of children are also still at risk of growing up in orphanages.
Unfortunately, children who grow up in orphanages have real disadvantages in terms of how they learn, how they think, their mental health outcomes, how they are productive as an adult. Children who grow up in families are the ones that are able to thrive.
It's really important that international adoption be the final safety net for kids who can't be in a family any other way.
Although international adoption is seeing a steep decline, the need for support among existing adoptive parents and adoptees is growing. Some of the oldest international adoptees are now in their 60s and 70s. Through the years, they and their families have taught us that adoption is a lifelong experience that doesn't end once a child joins a family.
So after a child is adopted, it is so important for people to remember that adoption is a process and it's a lifelong process. It's not something that just happens the day they come home. So it is so important for families to have that post-adoption support from their agency, from medical professionals, from mental health professionals, so that we make sure that children are able to really learn and grow.
When an adoptee comes back to us and shares what was good about their experience, we rejoice with them, but when they tell us what was hard or difficult, we take that very seriously and we look at how can we do our work differently.
The greatest hopes I have for the children that we serve is that they would grow up in a loving and permanent home, that they would find community, that they would find love, that they would grow up to their fullest potential.
I believe that you can tell a lot about values of a society from the way that they treat their women and children and the most vulnerable. And I really believe that that is such a beautiful, beautiful value and gift that adoption brings to society, and that more people should join in the love and the care for the most vulnerable.